Starting off this list, we got Beyonce. After Beyonce released the hit album Lemonade, Amy thought it would be funny if she made a video of her and some of her snatched cast members lip-syncing along to it. The video featured Goldie Hawn, Wanda Sykes, and Joan Cusack. Even though the video was released on Tidal, seemingly approved by Beyonce and Jay-Z, it got tons of backlash from fans. Most of the claims centered around the fact that regardless of approval or not, this was not Schumer's work to parody. Some also felt it was particularly tone deaf for them to parody a song about black empowerment. Amy addressed the backlash in an article, admiring how the album brought women together. But Amy didn't address the key issues that fans had, making it clear that Amy didn't understand why it was out of place. Next up, Tammy Pescatelli. Since Amy Schumer has become an A-list comedian, she's been accused of joke stealing on many occasions. Most of the drama took place on Twitter, where Kathleen Madigan, Wendy Liebman, and Tammy Pescatelli all alleged that Amy stole jokes from them. Pescatelli was the most vocal, tweeting, quote, "What's always been amazing to me is that she purports to be a feminist, yet only steals from other female comedians. If we all call her on it, we are jealous or career shamed. Be successful. We want you to do well, just do it with your own material. By the way, she blocked me." One of the jokes was from Kathleen Madigan, where she said Oprah was so rich she could hire someone to slap food out of her hand as a weight loss tool. The joke that Amy stole from Pescatelli was talking about how women will dress their boyfriends so horribly that nobody else will want to date them. Amy used this joke in her movie Trainwreck. Next up, Equinox staff. Amy Schumer can be pretty full of herself. She made that clear when she pulled the "Do you know who I am" card at a New York City gym. Basically, she tried to walk into the Equinox without presenting her membership card, which is standard policy. One employee said, quote, "She felt entitled to just walk in. She didn't want to show her key fob and wanted to be able to go in and not be questioned." Apparently, when the employee asked for her ID, Amy replied that she's famous. The source added, quote, "It was clear that Amy wanted to go in under the radar and not even stop to have the desk clerk look up her account on a computer." Apparently, Amy was so peeved about the entire experience that she left the gym altogether. Next up, Jackson Murphy. Jackson Murphy, a 17-year-old film critic who took a photo with Amy at the Critics' Choice Awards, tweeted a raunchy caption along with a photo of him and Schumer, and it totally backfired. Schumer is known for her self-deprecating humor, specifically relating to sleeping around. So the critic posted a photo of the two of them with the caption, quote, "Spent the night with Amy Schumer, certainly not the first guy to write that." Even though it was a lighthearted jab, Schumer tweeted back clearly disappointed. She wrote, quote, "I get it, cause I'm a whole glad I took a photo with you. Hi to your dad." Jackson quickly apologized once he realized her feelings were hurt, claiming he thought she would like the joke. Schumer later tweeted back, quote, "That's really okay, honey. I just remember thinking you and your dad were sweet, and it was just a bummer to read that." Some people felt that Amy had the appropriate reaction, but others felt she was way too harsh on the teen for a simple joke that she makes oftentimes about herself. Next up, Steve-O. While Schumer and Steve-O were on the panel for Comedy Central's roast of Charlie Sheen in 2012, she told a joke that many felt crossed the line. At the time, Steve-O's good friend and collaborator Ryan Dunn had just passed away in a drunk driving accident. Amy's joke was, quote, "I truly am, no joke, sorry for the loss of your friend Ryan Dunn. I know you must have been thinking it could have been me, and I know we were all thinking, why wasn't it?" The camera then panned to Steve-O's face, and he was not laughing. Fans immediately came to his defense after the special, trashing Schumer, but Steve-O actually came to her defense and said it was a good joke. While on the Big J show at KRSQ Hot 101.9, Steve-O said that Schumer asked him for help to calm his fans. Steve-O agreed, saying, quote, "Hey everybody, it was a roast, you know, where people say mean things to each other on purpose. That silly little was just doing her job. To this day, she will not apologize for the joke." Next up, Ashley Graham. Like I said before, Amy Schumer is very self-deprecating, and she often talks about how her body is not model-esque. But it seems that she doesn't like when other people put that label onto her. When Glamour magazine included Amy Schumer in the 2016 Chic at Any Size issue, alongside plus-size stars like Melissa McCarthy, Adele, and Ashley Graham, Schumer was offended by her inclusion. She shared her thoughts on Instagram, writing, quote, "I think there's nothing wrong with being plus-size, beautiful, healthy women. Plus size is considered size 16 in America. I go between a size 6 and 8. Glamour Mag put me in their plus size only issue without asking me or letting me know, and it doesn't feel right to me. Young girls seeing my body type thinking that is plus size. Although many understood Schumer's point, some were confused, as she constantly speaks about not being super skinny. She even said at the Glamour Women of the Year Awards, quote, "I'm like 160 pounds and can catch a D whenever I want." Ashley Graham didn't like the sentiment and clapped back in Cosmopolitan, saying, quote, "Amy talks about being a big girl in the industry. You thrive on being a big girl, but when you're grouped in with us, you're not happy about it. That to me felt like a double standard." And lastly, Amy Schumer herself. One fan exposed that Amy is rude to her fans, and even caught the whole thing on video. While Amy was touring in Greenville, South Carolina, she posted a photo of a fan and claimed that he was harassing her to get a photo. The caption said in part, quote, "This guy in front of his family just ran up next to me, scared the out of me, put a camera in my face. I asked him to stop and he said, 'No, it's America and we paid for you.'" Apparently she asked him to stop multiple times, but he did not. She finished off saying that she was no longer going to take any photos with fans because of this guy in Greenville. But the fan, named Leslie Brewer, responded with his own Instagram post. He posted a video of his interaction with Schumer, and it was very different from what Schumer described. And in the video, Amy is calmly asking him to delete a photo of her that she didn't like. In response to this video, a source shared, quote, "She's always hated taking photos with fans, even before she had a TV show or a movie. She couldn't be bothered then and she can't be bothered now." After this all exploded, she said she will still take pictures with fans only if she feels like it.
First off, we have when Seal exposed her on Instagram. Just days after the Golden Globes in 2018, the singer Seal posted a meme on Instagram consisting of several photos of Oprah, including a photo in which it appears Winfrey is pushing singer Rita Ora toward the disgraced movie mogul and alleged harasser. Seal captioned the images, quote, "Oh, I forgot, that's right. You've heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually serially violating young actresses who in turn had no idea what they were getting into. My bad." The meme itself read, quote, "When you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you're the solution." When Ludacris appeared on Oprah to promote his movie Crash, he claimed she ambushed him with criticism about hip-hop lyrics instead of talking about the critically acclaimed movie that he was there to plug. In addition, he said the interview was edited in Oprah's favor. "She edited out a lot of my comments while keeping her own in," Ludacris told GQ. "Of course it's her show, but we were doing a show on racial discrimination, and she gave me a hard time as a rapper when I came on there as an actor." He added, quote, "Initially I wasn't even invited on the show, and they called the night before to tell me I could be on. So after the taping, she pulled me into a room and we had a 5-minute conversation. What I got was that by having rappers on her show, she feels like she's empowering them. It was like being at somebody's house who doesn't really want you there. It was so uncomfortable." He added that she criticized him for using the N-word in his lyrics. "I don't see why people like Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle, who I am huge fans of," he says, "it's okay for them to go on Oprah. They speak the same language as I do, but they do it through comedy, so I guess that's acceptable." Next, let's discuss Oprah shutting down an entire food industry. During the height of the mad cow scare in 1996, Oprah invited Howard Lyman, a cattle rancher turned vegetarian, onto her show to discuss controversial practices within the beef industry, including a process now banned in the US called rendering, which involves turning cow organs into feed for other cattle. While Oprah challenged some of his more outlandish statements, which included the suggestion that the disease could become as infectious as the AIDS epidemic, she exclaimed at one point that his revelations had, quote, "stopped me cold from eating another hamburger." Beef prices plunged for nearly 2 weeks after the episode aired, eventually reaching a 10-year low. In response, a group of angry cattle ranchers in Texas filed a $10 million lawsuit, claiming she defamed the entire industry. Our next story is insane and also a bit sad. It's not as if Oprah created a theory behind the best-selling self-help book The Secret, written by New Age guru Rhonda Byrne, but by promoting it on 2 episodes of her show, she may have given it a dangerous level of credence. The book's central premise, the law of attraction, is that positive thinking is the route to obtaining anything you want in life, while negative thoughts will cause bad events to occur. But when Oprah's producers received a letter from viewer Kim Tinkham, who had received a breast cancer diagnosis shortly after the shows aired, they were alarmed by how far she had taken the inspiration. Kim Tinkham wrote that she had decided to forego chemotherapy, instead choosing to follow the book's advice, literally. Oprah brought her onto the show to set her straight and urged her to not, quote, "ignore all the advantages branches of medical science. Kim Tinkham, who went on to follow another New Age regime, unfortunately died in December 2010. Ultimately, Oprah stood by her position that the law of attraction can affect positive change. Oprah is also known for promoting really bad medical advice on her old TV show. Oprah MD? Not exactly, but her 7 million daily viewers were fed a steady diet of health tips. While well-known guests like Dr. Oz offer sound advice on eating and fitness, the program at times is a forum for some really questionable medical claims. As Newsweek noted in a cover story, actress Jenny McCarthy has used Oprah's show to link some well-respected childhood vaccines to autism, a claim that most experts definitely dismiss. With hardly a challenge from the host, Suzanne Summers and Robin McGraw, wife of Dr. Phil McGraw, have used the show's reach to endorse hormone therapy for women, though it can also boost serious risks of heart attacks and strokes. While Oprah is careful to acknowledge both sides in medical debates, many experts fear that nuance is lost amid the adoring reception given to the latest miracle cure. Some observers also question Oprah's enthusiasm for novel cosmetic surgery procedures, which occasionally lead to really unwelcome complications. As Dr. V. Young, a plastic surgeon, told the New York Times, if she told viewers that arsenic would make them beautiful, we'd be getting hundreds of calls from people asking us for arsenic. Oprah's also been known to promote really toxic weight loss advice. In 1988, just 2 years after the Oprah Winfrey Show was launched, the TV legend revealed during an episode of her show that she had lost a whopping 67 pounds in 4 months, thanks to an all-liquid diet. She even wheeled on stage a wagon with 67 pounds of fat on it to visually show her audience how much weight she actually lost. In reality, she later revealed that she had, quote, starved herself and messed up her metabolism, which ultimately resulted in her gaining it all back and then some pretty quickly. An anonymous guest wrote an entire article on how being featured in an episode of The Oprah Show was, quote, the worst day of her life. In the article, she writes, being on Oprah changed my perception of what I was doing for a living forever and marked the beginning of my long love affair with social media instead of regular television. The story goes like this. By 2002, she says, I had run my boutique PR firm for 6 years, helping musicians tell their stories, and I was very satisfied doing it. One fateful day, my telephone rang. It was a call from a producer at The Oprah Show. She had read an article about my mom in a magazine where my mom had mentioned her entrepreneurial daughter. Within a week, an Oprah film crew had descended. The show combined live studio and taped interviews with Gloria Steinem, among many famous guests. On the air date, Oprah opened the show by promising, quote, a revealing look at what younger women think about older women. We were told the theme of the show would be generational differences in the workplace, but what it really ended up being was the airing of my painful family struggle in front of 40 million viewers. It turns out the show was really about pitting daughters from my generation against their moms, ambitious women who were at the front lines in the battle for women's equality. There was tremendous pain for all the daughters featured. I'm not writing this to air dirty laundry, she says. I'm writing it to make a point about traditional media. Oprah's philanthropic efforts and her general spirit of giving are really well documented, but even that caught a bit of static last September when she and The Rock, with their combined net worth of well over $3 billion, asked the viewers to contribute to the Maui wildfires while only allegedly kicking in $10 million of their own money. The comment section in their request video turned into such a dumpster fire of criticism that the comments were turned off. In Apple TV's new docuseries, The Supermodels, Cindy Crawford is re-evaluating key moments from her career, including one questionable Oprah Show moment from 1986 that she now claims was, quote, so not okay. Throughout the episode in question, Crawford sat alongside her then representative, John Casablancas. Winfrey asked Cindy to stand up to give the audience a better look at her figure. Now this is what I call a body, exclaimed Oprah. The host then pitched several questions to Casablanca's her representative, who spoke on Crawford's behalf as if she wasn't even there. She's getting a sense, and I'm saying it now in this program, if she wants to, she can be #1 in the business, he said. Looking back on her experience, the fashion icon, who is one of the 4 models featured in the Apple TV series, admitted that the appearance made her feel less than. "I was like a child, be seen and not heard," said Crawford in the series. When you look at it through today's eyes, Oprah's like, "Stand up and show me your body, show us why you're worthy of being here." In the moment, I didn't recognize it, and watching it back, I was like, oh my gosh, that was so not okay. Really, especially coming from Oprah. Despite her humble beginnings, a video began circulating online in 2022 that showed Oprah seemingly left stunned after a fan told her they couldn't afford a $100 jewelry box. The clip was shared to TikTok, and it shows someone approaching Oprah and asking for a holiday gift idea for their mom, who is, quote, "not doing well. A wonderful thing is that jewelry box that I had on favorite things," she said. After some thought, "A beautiful red jewelry box. That's too expensive for me," the person holding the camera interjects. "No, it's not," Oprah argues, shaking her head. It's really not. It's like $100 and something. A little lower in my price budget," the person says. At this point, Oprah seemingly cannot hide her shock as she responds, "Lower than $100?" with an amused smile on her face. First up, we have Kirsten Dunst. While Amy was hosting the Oscars in 2022, she made numerous jokes people weren't too fond of. One of them was a joke where she called Kirsten Dunst a seat filler. The audience's reactions were varied, some smiling, knowing it was a joke, and some celebs like SNL star Maya Rudolph looked shocked as Amy made Kirsten get up from the seat and leave. Apparently, Kirsten was in on the joke, but the acting was so believable, people really thought they had beef. Users on YouTube voiced their opinions on the ordeal, one user commenting, "I don't care if it was staged, it was a lame joke, her jokes are never funny." While another user said, "And I thought the Will Smith slap was bad." Yikes. Ellen DeGeneres. While on the Ellen Show, Amy Schumer reportedly used a few of Ellen's old stand-up jokes while talking to her. That's a new low for Amy, even though she's been reportedly stealing jokes over the course of her career, but never directly saying them to the person she stole the joke from. The joke she told Ellen DeGeneres was about how people in movie theaters don't want to admit how much popcorn they're going to eat, but Amy says she has, quote, "split her lip trying to fit one more kernel in." The audience was dying laughing, and so was Ellen, although the joke was used in many of Ellen's 90s stand-up specials, and we aren't sure Amy realized. Our next celebrity who refuses to work with Amy Schumer is Steve O. Back in 2011, Schumer was still a rising star in the comedy world when she appeared as a roaster on the Comedy Central roast of Charlie Sheen. One of the most talked about jokes that night came from Amy, who used Steve O's late best friend, Ryan Dunn, as the punchline of a joke. She says, "I truly am, no joke, sorry for the loss of your friend Ryan Dunn," Schumer said to Steve O. "I know you must have been thinking, it could have been me," and we were all thinking, why wasn't it? At the time, the joke prompted some groans from the crowd and felt it was too soon to make light of Dunn's passing, which happened just 3 months prior. Steve-O appeared to be visibly offended by the joke as well, as he didn't so much as fake a smile. Many of Steve-O's fans had heavily criticized Amy for going there, and even Steve-O couldn't help but get involved, saying some pretty negative things about her in 2012. Quote, "When I got to rehab, the first thing I learned was the importance of forgiveness, and I forgive Comedy Central for letting that no-name SLUT on the show in the first place," said Steve-O. When he discovered she was doing interviews with no regrets of the Ryan Dunn joke, Steve-O responds, "I have zero respect for her, but I am not mad at her for telling a joke. Tell all the jokes you want, it's a roast, but don't be two-faced." Khloe Kardashian is angry at Amy Schumer for her 2015 remarks about her while hosting SNL. Speaking to the Howard Stern show, Khloe Kardashian says, "I was more upset that somebody claims they're like a girl's girl and that they're all about woman empowerment, and then she says that I'm not relatable because I'm not fat anymore." Kardashian added that she doesn't know Schumer personally, but loves her and thinks that she is hysterical. To refresh everybody's memory, Howard Stern played a snippet of Schumer's monologue in which she says, "We used to have Khloe, you know? Khloe was ours, right? But then Khloe, she lost half her body weight. she lost a Kendall. Hearing the crack again, Kardashian agreed it wasn't too bad, but she added, quote, "I'm proud. I've worked for 3 years to do this. We lost Khloe." Who's we? We lost Khloe. What community lost her? Fat people, Howard Stern replied. Quote, "People that don't have the option of being you." While conceding that she has trainers or whatever, Kardashian says, she stuck to her guns and said, "You know what? Losing weight is not easy. It's effing hard." Nicole Kidman also has reason to be angry at Amy Schumer, as Schumer received some backlash after she commented on a photo of Nicole Kidman in a somewhat unnatural pose seated at the US Open, writing, "This how humans sit." Some fans accused Amy Schumer of cyberbullying the Oscar winner with the post. After deleting the initial post, Amy followed it up with a sarcastic apology. "I want to apologize to all the people I hurt posting a photo of Nicole Kidman and alluding to her being an alien. I will be asking the cast of that 70s show to write letters advocating for my forgiveness." In the caption of her Instagram post on Friday, Amy Schumer further elaborated on the joke and called out some of the cyberbullying that she's received as a result. "I hope everybody is okay," and takes a deep breath, including all of the pieces written on this subject. "You guys good?" Schumer wrote, "To all the people who commented on me, I'm so sorry I'm not prettier. Please forgive me. I apologize. It wasn't even a slow news day, but what got your goat was me saying that Nicole Kidman's pose was not human-like." She concluded with, "Breathe, y'all. To the people who write hateful things below, I forgive you as a mother, a woman, and most importantly, as somebody who also likes hot gossip. Have a good weekend." Our next celebrity on the list is Alec Baldwin. During Amy's new Netflix special, she made jokes that she, quote, "wasn't allowed to make while hosting the Oscars," and one of them involved the Alec Baldwin Rust shooting incident. If you guys don't know the story, let me catch you up quickly. Alec Baldwin was practicing drawing a gun on the set of a Western movie when the cinematographer Helena Hutchins was fatally shot. On October 21st, 2021, inside a structure depicting a wooden church, Mr. Baldwin was rehearsing a scene that involved cross-drawing a revolver. As the crew was setting up for the shot, the gun discharged accidentally and a bullet struck Miss Hutchins in the chest, and Joel Souza, the film's director, was struck in the shoulder. Miss Hutchins, 42, was airlifted to a hospital in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where she passed away, and the director, 48, was taken by ambulance to a hospital in Santa Fe and was released the next day. Hours before the shooting, about 6 members of the camera crew walked off the set over working conditions and complaints about long workdays and delayed paychecks, according to some people involved in the production. So anyway, during her Netflix special, Amy Schumer made a joke about the whole situation that went like this. Quote, "Don't Look Up is the name of a movie. More like Don't Look Down the Barrel of Alec Baldwin's Shot." Yikes, Amy. Hilaria Baldwin, Alec Baldwin's wife, also has reason to be mad at Amy after she made a joke about her accent, which Amy claims is fake. During her new Netflix special Emergency Contact, the comedian called meeting Alec Baldwin's wife, Hilaria, years ago while backstage at Saturday Night Live. During their interaction, Amy said that the Massachusetts native told her she was, quote, "from Spain," and used a thick Spanish accent. She says, "Hilaria and Alec have a Von Trapp amount of children, and they named all of them, I'm not sure, but very Spanish names. And all this would be fine and beautiful," Amy continues, "except that Hilaria is actually Hillary from Boston. This woman is in no way Spanish. Her parents are not from Spain. No one in her life is even from Spain." Hilaria responded to the comment by saying on Instagram, "Girl, don't even apologize. You always make me laugh." Zach Galifianakis is another actor who is not a huge fan of Amy Schumer, as she stole a joke from one of his comedy specials. Amy did an interview with the AV Club back in October 2013 where they asked her, "Do you have an all-time favorite routine or joke? What makes a bit timeless?" She then goes on to cite a Zach Galifianakis joke where he says, "I may not look good, but I'm very well read," instead of well read. In a Netflix special years later, Amy makes the exact same joke. The Netflix special has a 1 out of 5 star rating on most platforms, and that's likely due to Reddit users targeting her and her ratings. Wow, people must really hate her. Dave Attell is another comedian who must hold some sort of grudge against Amy, as she also stole some of his jokes on the same Netflix special that she stole Zach Galifianakis' joke. Although Dave and Amy seem to still be close friends, Dave appearing often on Amy's podcast, as well as Amy naming her son after him, Gene Attell, before legally reportedly changing his name days later because Amy realized genital sounded a little too much like genital. True, Amy. Good choice. Bradley Cooper is our final celebrity on the list, and here is the rundown for him. Amy is way too obsessed with him. While on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, Amy revealed she had a massive crush on the actor, joking that she even changed her Facebook status to engaged to Bradley Cooper after having a 3-minute conversation with him on a red carpet. She made some offhanded jokes about the actor in an interview, like Bradley's the type of hot that makes you just want to grab your ankles. Although Bradley seems to be fine with it, saying in an interview, "I know she's not really obsessed with me, I'm just the butt of a joke." She is hilarious.
So coming up first on the list, we have the NDAs. Now, confidentiality agreements are not uncommon in the world of Hollywood. Now, over 500 of Oprah's staff members were forced to sign the document, and one former employee, Elizabeth Cody, tried to write a book about her time working for Oprah, but she was apparently stopped by the courts as she was still tied to the agreement that she signed. The NDAs were not meant to be a way to keep just show secrets safe, but to keep any and all of Oprah's personal secrets safe as well. Now, according to Elizabeth, the document was signed by almost everyone in her life, on and even off of set. It's said that she may have this look of sweetness and kindness, but that's not how she is at all. Elizabeth felt that she was in Oprah's pocket after she signed the paperwork. Then in 2010, a lawsuit was filed against Oprah and her company after Unica's Performance Training claimed that they were fired for violating the terms of her agreement, specifically involving advertising with her name or the website of the show. Now up next, we have her stepmom exposing her. Now on air, Oprah is portrayed as a wholesome, sweet lady, but according to her stepmom, there is an unknown side to Oprah, hidden from fans for years. Now according to Barbara, who is her stepmom, Oprah may be one of the most controlling people you will ever meet in your entire life. She claims that Oprah would not allow them to stay at her house when they tried to visit, forcing them to stay in hotels with money out of their own pocket. Barbara also said that Oprah was quick to anger when it came to her staff, with several people being fired and left and right over the years, but couldn't come out about the situation because of the NDAs. But that's not all. Despite being a billionaire, Barbara allows Oprah to stay at her house for visits, something that Oprah actually hated. The first time she stayed over, Oprah allegedly complained that her bed sheets were not 1,000 threads and that her bath towels were not big enough. This woman has billions of dollars to do anything she wants, and what she wants is to make her family feel like a burden. Next up on the list, we have the supplement overload controversy. Now, Oprah has had plenty of controversial people on her show, from so-called medical experts to psychologists to celebrities. Now, whatever is good for TV is good for Oprah. Now, one particular incident that caused a ton of backlash for Oprah was when she did an interview with Suzanne Somers. Now, she was brought onto the show to share her beauty secrets and how she was able to look so young. Now, according to some, this treatment that she does on a regular basis will help, and Suzanne claimed that she rubs estrogen cream into her skin on one arm and smears progesterone into the other arm, and progesterone is a fancy way of saying steroids. She claimed that she took 60 supplements and vitamin A's a day, which was 40 in the morning and 20 before bed. What really stirred the pot was that this woman claimed to be a health expert and a self-author, but surprise, surprise, she actually was not. Medical experts actually started bashing Oprah, claiming that this type of extreme hormone therapy would actually be the cause of several diseases and illnesses like cancer. Now, despite Suzanne's claim that her specialty made non-FDA approved bioidenticals are natural and safe, they are actually just synthetic, conventional hormones that you can buy from a pharmacy. Now, Oprah did everything in her power to sell this idea to her audience, believing 100% that the methods were useful, even claiming that she had used the methods herself that made her feel so incredible. So this lady would rather risk her audience getting cancer than just telling the truth. Up next, we have her billionaire advocacy. Now, Oprah has been claiming to be many things since the Mao Maui backlash has begun. Now, a good boss and a charitable woman and an advocate for the island of Maui. Now, by starting this fund and donating her spare millions, she had made her mark in the public as a woman who cares. So much that she is asking you to give her money. Isn't that so sweet? The main reason that people believe that Jason has not spoken on Oprah is because he knows that she is an absolute phony. So as mentioned, Oprah would not care about Maui or its people if she didn't have vested stake on the island. Now, Oprah has had property in Maui for quite some time, being almost a second home to her at times. When the fire started raging, she started fundraising. Up next, we have what the free and free really means. Now, who could forget Oprah's famous words, "You get a car"? Now, this moment was historical on her series and has been said over and over and over again. However, what almost no one knows is that it's not as simple as here, take the keys and drive away. Now, when someone gives out anything on television, there is always a catch. Now, for Oprah's audience, the catch was that if they actually wanted to drive away in their brand new car, they would actually have to pay over $7,000 in taxes first. Now, while Oprah's studio would cover the sales tax and registration for each car, the audience members were given a choice to either pay $7 grand and take the car, or simply just take the cash instead. Now, the infamous moment on the show featured 11 real teachers who were, according to Oprah, in desperate need of a new car. They, along with the audience, received keys in a box on camera that Oprah claimed to be their new car. Now, everything has a catch, even now. Now, for someone who is known for being charitable and generous, the word free clearly meant something different to Oprah. Now, up next on the list, we have Stand Up Cindy. Now, Cindy Crawford, who is a model and actress, has called Oprah out over their 1986 interview that took place on her show, where Oprah asked the then 20-year-old to expose herself to the crowd. Now, Crawford reflected on the interview in a new documentary called The Supermodels. The documentary focuses on the careers of several models like Linda Everlist and, of course, Cindy Crawford. Now, in a clip from the documentary, Winfrey is heard introducing the then aspiring supermodel to the Oprah Winfrey show before she asks, "Did she always have this body? This is unbelievable, stand up." She actually made her stand up, and then she said, "This is what I call a body." Now, Cindy, as anyone else would be, was visibly uncomfortable and was standing up for the studio audience as they cheered when they showed off her figure. Now, according to Cindy, she felt like a child at the moment being told what to do by her superior. Now, she felt that at the moment, she was more of a show us why you're worthy of being here. Now, at the time, this was just some weird thing Oprah asked her to do, but it morphed and mutated into one of the most uncomfortable moments of her early years in modeling. Now, the most shocking thing for her was the fact that Oprah Winfrey, trying to tell her what to do, the woman known for her kindness and generosity, made her feel like a puppet. Now, up next, we have Where's the Beef? So in the spring of 1996, the United Kingdom apparently experienced an outbreak of mad cow disease. Now, according to the FDA, the disease destroys cows' central nervous system, and if humans eat the infected meat, we'll basically get sick and turn into zombies. But they can actually contract a deadly variant called Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Now, during the mad cow scare, the Oprah Winfrey show booked Howard Lyman, who was a rancher who adopted a vegetarian lifestyle and went to work for the Humane Society's Eating with Animal Welfare campaign, and he appeared on the show to discuss the threat of mad cow to Americans. He pointed out that feeding the remains of mad cows to already infected cattle or other animals could have facilitated the spread, and that those types of practices were common in the US. Now, Oprah was visibly disgusted and right then and there vowed that she would never eat a burger again. Now, her influence and her millions of viewers were so large that only a few hours after the episode aired and she declared she'd never eat a hamburger again, the price of beef stock plummeted, staying at an all-time low for over 2 months. One Texas rancher actually lost an estimated $6.7 million and organized a class action lawsuit against Oprah and her show for talking trash about American beef. Then, after a 6-week trial, she actually won, leaving one man with no farm and out of $1,000 in legal fees, all because she was disgusted. Now, up next, we have Oprah's stance on weight loss. Now, Oprah Winfrey has been called out for using weight loss medication despite being a longtime ambassador for Weight Watchers. Now, the famous talk show host has confirmed that she uses an unnamed substance to help her control her weight. Now, in a revealing conversation, Oprah said her new slim figure is thanks to the medication and a healthier lifestyle overall. She said, "I now use it as I feel I need it, and the fact that there's a medically approved prescription for managing weight and staying healthier in my lifetime feels like a relief, like a redemption, like a gift, and not something to hide behind and once again be ridiculed for." She went on to say, "I'm absolutely done with the shaming from other people and particularly myself." However, the fans felt the billionaire was being hypocritical given that she is a proud spokesperson for Weight Watchers, a company she has worked with since 2017. Now, next up on the list, we have her exposing herself. Now, Oprah is top on the list for getting exposed because she has been doing it to herself since day one. Now, her talk show is all about bringing the most vulnerable people onto the show to get views. She's brought violence victims, health experts, and fake psychologists and convicted felons onto her programs, all for the sake of profit. As the years went by, her style was adapted by more and more studios, creating shows like Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz, both equally as controversial. Now, not to mention a few years ago when she wrote a book detailing her early life and rise to the top, revealing some truly dark truths about her life at home. Now, she herself was considered to be a menace by her own family, but it seems to be whatever negative juju lived in the house rubbed off on Oprah 100%. Now, last on the list, we have Seal and Hank. This man may be known for his vocal chops, but he should be known for his meme-making abilities. Now, just days after the Golden Globes, Seal posted a meme on Instagram consisting of several photos of Oprah Winfrey cozying up with a man whose name I am not allowed to say on the internet because he is so horrendous. Now, he is the guy who produced half of Quentin Tarantino's movies, and he was actually the main cause of the Me Too movement, and for the rest of this segment, he will be referred to as Hank. So Oprah and Hank were photographed spending time together, and one photo even made it look like Oprah was pushing singer Rita Ora toward Mr. Hank. Now, Seal captioned the image saying a bunch of stuff that I can't quote here, but the meme itself said, "When you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution." I'm not sure how deep this feud goes on, but from the surface it seems that the Seal has been trying to warn us that something is up for years.
While Oprah has certainly accomplished much in her career, like all of us, she is not without her flaws and controversies. So grab your popcorn and sit back and enjoy us as we explore the less known side of Oprah Winfrey's journey. Starting off with objectifying Cindy Crawford. Oprah Winfrey, the queen of talk shows, found herself in the middle of controversy for asking supermodel Cindy Crawford to stand up during an interview to show her body. It happened on the Oprah Winfrey Show, a platform known for its profound conversations. Oprah, always a straight shooter, asked Cindy to stand, catching the supermodel slightly off guard. There was a mix of reactions, with some viewers thinking it was completely normal given Cindy's status as a world-renowned supermodel, while others saw it as somewhat objectifying. In hindsight, the controversy invites a conversation about body image, respect, and the way we view celebrities. It's important to remember that even as we appreciate the beauty and talent of individuals, we should always strive to respect their comfort and consent. So what's your opinion on this controversial moment? Do you think Oprah was out of line, or was it just an innocent request in the context of the interview? Be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments section. Reflecting on the encounter 37 years later on Apple TV's The Supermodels, Cindy said, "I was like the chattel or a child, be seen and not heard. As an iconic supermodel who has graced countless magazine covers, walked down hundreds of runways, and fronted successful advertising campaigns, Cindy Crawford is not one to shy away from the fashion industry's dark side." In the latest Apple TV docuseries, she opens up about her early days as a model in New York City and how she felt pressured to conform to unrealistic beauty standards. Next, asking Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen what clothing size they wore. When Mary-Kate and Ashley appeared on the show in 2004, Oprah brought up rumors that they had eating disorders. After the 18-year-olds told her they tried not to read the good or the bad things people wrote about them, she asked what clothing sizes they wore. This just goes to show how early body image issues can start for young girls in the entertainment industry. Being in the spotlight at such a young age can lead to a warped perception of what is considered normal or acceptable. As they say, beauty comes in all shapes and sizes, but unfortunately, that message isn't always portrayed in Hollywood. The pressure to maintain a certain weight and appearance in the public eye can also lead to unhealthy behaviors and lifestyle choices. Eating disorders are a serious issue that can have long-lasting effects on an individual's physical and mental health. It's important for young girls in the entertainment industry to have a strong support system and to prioritize their health over societal expectations. But it's not just celebrities who face this pressure. With the rise of social media, everyone is now under constant scrutiny when it comes to their appearance. Asking Nathan Lane about his sexuality. During an interview with Oprah, the issue of Nathan's sexuality was raised given his role as an openly gay character in the movie. Being a private person, Nathan wasn't prepared to delve into this topic publicly at the time, but displaying his quick wit and camaraderie, Robin smoothly diverted the conversation by cracking a lighthearted joke. During the talk show, Robin showed his support for Nathan's character and shared how important representation is in the entertainment industry. He expressed his admiration for Nathan's talent as an actor and praised him for being brave enough to take on such a role. It was quick thinking on Robin's part, but this just goes to show the ignorance in Oprah's interview style. In a 2023 episode of Sunday Sit Down, Nathan expressed his feelings about his encounter with Oprah. He said, "I don't think Oprah was trying to out me, but I said to Robin beforehand, I'm not prepared. I'm so scared of going out there and talking to Oprah. I'm not prepared to discuss that I'm gay on national television. I'm not ready." And Robin said, "Oh, it's all right. Don't worry about it. We don't have to talk about it. We won't talk about it." Rest in peace, Robin Williams. The issue of representation in the entertainment industry is one that has been gaining more and more attention over the years. It's obvious that there is a need for diversity and inclusivity on screen. This also extends to the LGBTQ+ community, where representation has often been lacking or stereotyped. However, with the increasing demand for more diverse and authentic storytelling, we are seeing a positive change in the industry. Drew Brees' awkward moment. During a 2010 appearance on her show, Oprah made an amusing error when she encountered NFL quarterback Drew Brees. Oprah tried to wipe away a smudge on Drew Brees' face, thinking it was a lipstick stain, but oh wait, there's no lipstick. It's Brees' birthmark. Talk about a live TV moment. Brees handled the situation with grace and explained it to Oprah, who seemed genuinely surprised and quickly moved on with the interview. Personally, I think she shouldn't have even touched him without permission, but we can see this trend already where Oprah doesn't seem to have boundaries when it comes to the guests on her show. However, this incident highlights a bigger issue in our society, the pressure to conform to certain beauty standards. Brees' birthmark is a natural and unique part of his appearance, yet Oprah's immediate reaction was to try and remove it as if it were an imperfection. It's important for us all to learn from this mistake and recognize that everyone is beautiful in their own way, birthmarks and all. We should celebrate our differences and embrace them instead of trying to hide or change them. This also extends to other aspects of our appearance, such as skin color, body shape, and hair texture. Society often puts pressure on individuals to fit into a narrow definition of beauty, causing self-consciousness and insecurities. Prying on Elizabeth Taylor's life. In a classic moment from 1988, Elizabeth Taylor expertly sidestepped Oprah's probing questions regarding her rumored love interests. This amusing interaction saw Oprah playfully chiding Elizabeth for her evasive answers. But this moment also shed light on the many issues celebrities face, the constant scrutiny of their personal lives and relationships. As public figures, they are often subject to intense media attention and speculation surrounding their romantic partners. This intense focus on their love lives can take a toll on both their mental health and relationships. Many celebrities have spoken out about feeling like they constantly have to defend and explain their relationships to the public. This can lead to feelings of pressure, invasion of privacy, and even relationship strain. But celebrities aren't the only ones affected by this constant scrutiny. It also affects their partners, who often have to deal with being thrust into the spotlight without consent or choice. This lack of privacy can make it difficult for their partners to maintain a sense of normalcy and can strain the relationship. When Oprah and Elizabeth Taylor had playful banter about dating rumors surrounding the actress, Oprah was insistent on getting a straight answer from her guest, but Elizabeth playfully dodged her questions and kept the conversation lighthearted. This exchange between two powerful women in entertainment sheds light on the pressure celebrities face to constantly address things that's going on in their lives. It is a little exhausting, and I probably would hate that too. But despite their celebrity status, these women were able to have a playful and genuine interaction, showcasing the power of strong female friendships. Now on to the next, and this might be one of the worst ones I've seen. Asking Michael Jackson invasive questions. In 1993, Oprah asked Michael Jackson if he was a virgin, then pressured him to answer when he tried to skirt around it. This moment on the Oprah Winfrey Show sparked controversy and backlash, as many viewers felt it was inappropriate to pry into the personal life of a celebrity. It also shed light on the double standards and intrusive nature of media interviews. The controversy surrounding Oprah's question to Michael Jackson illuminated the intrusive dynamics often present in celebrity interviews. Public figures, while certainly subjected to media scrutiny, still possess a right to personal privacy. This incident drew criticism as it seemed to cross boundaries of personal decency, delving into a topic that many believed should be considered private even for a public figure. The backlash demonstrated a growing public awareness and rejection of such invasive media tactics, thus further fueling discussions about the ethics of celebrity journalism. As an influential and popular talk show host, Oprah had a significant platform and could easily manipulate the direction of the conversation. Michael Jackson, on the other hand, was a guest on her show and may have felt compelled to answer personal questions in order to maintain a positive image or not offend his host. This power dynamic further highlighted the problematic nature of this particular interview and other similar incidents in the media. Inappropriate interview in front of kids. The Turtles were on stage, surrounded by a sea of ecstatic kids. Then Oprah, in her inimitable style, decided to stir the pot. She asked the Turtles a relationship question about their human friend April O'Neil, a relationship question to a bunch of mutant turtles in front of an audience of children. But let's get back to that question from Oprah. Why did she think it was acceptable to ask that in front of an audience filled with kids? Sounds irresponsible to me. Let's take a closer look at the situation. On one hand, it could be argued that Oprah was simply trying to have some fun and engage with the audience by asking a lighthearted question. After all, the turtles are fictional characters and therefore not subject to the same societal norms as real humans. On the other hand, we can see why some might find it inappropriate. The turtles are portrayed as young, impressionable heroes who are meant to be role models for children. Asking about their romantic relationships could potentially send mixed messages to young viewers. On to the next, asking Dolly Parton what she's gotten done. The legendary Dolly Parton, an icon known for her country music and vibrant persona, was a guest on the Oprah Winfrey Show. The interview was sailing smoothly until Oprah, with her trademark candor, ventured into a topic that celebrities often shy away from: cosmetic surgery. Yeah, you heard it right. Oprah asked Dolly Parton directly about her cosmetic surgeries, which felt a little out of place or even intrusive to some. And how did Dolly respond? With her signature humor and grace, of course. She openly admitted to having numerous surgeries but added a twist to it. Dolly joked that if she had the money to make herself look the way she wanted, why wouldn't she? Her honesty and confidence in her own choices was refreshing and empowering. On to the next, about Brad Pitt's tattoos. A 2008 interview with Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett on the Oprah Winfrey Show. During the interview, a curious viewer called in to ask Brad about the meaning behind his tattoos, but here's the catch. Brad chose to remain tight-lipped about it. Brad shook his head with a smile. I don't really want to talk about them. Interestingly, Oprah didn't let it go just there. In her trademark style, she turned the question back to the fan, leading to a lively and intriguing conversation, completely disregarding the fact that Brad initially did not want to talk about them. Asking about Burt Reynolds' toupee. In a 2021 episode of Literally with Rob Lowe, Oprah admitted to making a significant error. She recalled asking Sally Field an impertinent question about whether her then partner Burt Reynolds slept with his toupee on. Following this, she described the actor's reaction as becoming distant and unresponsive. In the interview, Oprah shared how she regretted asking such a personal question and how it affected her relationship with Sally Field. This incident serves as a reminder that even influential figures like Oprah can make mistakes and should take responsibility for their actions. It also highlighted the importance of being respectful and considerate in interviews, especially when discussing sensitive or private topics.
Number 10, unseasoned chicken. I dislike unseasoned food more than anyone, I think. Well, probably the same amount as any other person of color. Anyway, Oprah definitely feels the same way I do, because when a guest on her show presented her with a plate of beige, sad-looking food, she took a bite and immediately asked for extra salt and pepper to be added to this dish of food, to which the guest responded, "There is no salt and no pepper." Moment of silence here for the poor bird that died just to be cooked in such a disrespectful manner. Oprah was shocked. The audience was shocked. The dead bird on the plate was shocked. Everyone was shocked. I don't know how this lady thought it would be a good idea to feed a multi-millionaire, ultra-famous, hella influential black woman a plate of unseasoned chicken. Like, girl, go get some culture. Go taste some mashed potatoes that aren't made from powder, please. Number 9, Jay Leno. In a jaw-dropping interview on Oprah, Jay Leno unleashed a ton of confessions and excuses, revealing the messy reality behind his return to The Tonight Show, in which he was accused of having a part in the network's decision to reinstate him as The Tonight Show host while canning Conan O'Brien. Admitting to telling a white lie about retiring in 2004, Leno blamed the chaos on a multitude of factors, including being sucker punched by Jimmy Kimmel while he appeared on The Leno Show. Oprah, surprisingly unsympathetic, challenged Leno on his past jabs at fellow comedians, particularly Jimmy Kimmel's big jaw remark, which led to Leno hitting back at him with dark jabs at Letterman's unfaithfulness towards his wife. Leno defended his decision to accept the role on the show as an attempt to keep his staff employed. He acknowledged the show's failure but justified taking back his old job when offered. A surprising poll result from Oprah's audience revealed overwhelming support for Conan O'Brien in the midst of the mess. Leno's attempt to deflect blame onto NBC's handling of the situation took a dark turn, and the interview left viewers questioning Leno's actions and motives, making it clear that the fallout from this Oprah appearance would definitely linger. Number 8. Cindy Crawford. This American model and actress was a guest on the Oprah show in 1986 when Crawford was just 20 years old, alongside John Casablancas, who was her rep at Elite Modeling Agency at the time. In the resurfaced clip, Oprah asks Casablancas if Crawford has always had her body, before asking her to stand as she states, "Now this is what you call a body." Well, now the supermodel had appeared on the docu-series called The Supermodels, where she reflects on this moment, and she refers to herself as a child because she had not felt seen and not heard. Crawford admits she didn't notice it at the time, but now looking at it, Oprah does state, "Stand up and show us your body. Show us why you're worthy of being here," which made her uncomfortable as the model says this is not okay, especially from Oprah. As of now, Oprah hasn't commented on this situation, but many viewers have spoken up about this moment that was captured for television. Gig King was actually asked about this situation, where she admits she hasn't seen the clip but has heard about it, stating she felt disappointed and surprised in Oprah. However, there isn't any feud or anything between Oprah and Crawford according to King. As she stated, "As far as I know, everything is good between Oprah and Cindy." What do you think about Oprah's requests to Crawford during that interview? Number 7. Elizabeth Taylor. In 1988, Elizabeth Taylor joined Oprah for an interview where she was questioned about her relationship and the myriad of dating rumors surrounding her at the time. Elizabeth didn't say much to answer these questions, as she likely wanted to keep personal information private, but Oprah wanted more. She began to reply sarcastically to Elizabeth by stating, "You're so revealing. You gotta stop talking so much, Miss Taylor," which then Elizabeth clapped back with, "This is what your friends wanted, right?" Which didn't seem to impress Oprah, as she then said, "I just want to know. Tell me so we can all go home. If you tell me, I'll go home." Prior to this interview, Elizabeth had actually given Oprah a heads up and told her to avoid questions about her relationship, but it didn't really seem like Oprah followed these requests, and she even came out to say that this interview was still painful to watch for many reasons, including her bad hair. I mean, especially with the heads up before the interview started, Oprah could have and definitely should have avoided this entire incident by simply following Taylor's requests. Number 6. Lance Armstrong. Cyclist Lance Armstrong tried to clear his name when he spoke to Winfrey about using performance-enhancing drugs. The host asked him several questions, including, "Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?" To which Armstrong quickly answered yes, admitting his wrongdoing and stating he would spend the rest of his life apologizing to people and trying to remedy the situation. The cyclist insisted that he was not doping when he returned in 2009, but the US Anti-Doping Agency CEO said Armstrong lied again. Also, anti-doping agency is kind of a crazy sentence and an even worse or better name. Despite Oprah's achievement in securing the interview, many spoke out about the flaws in the set and camera work, as well as Armstrong's perceived lack of genuine remorse. Drawing comparisons to iconic TV confessions, the suggestion is made that Oprah could have taken a different approach to elicit more compelling responses from Armstrong. Many wonder if Armstrong would have agreed to the interview under a more critical stance, ultimately portraying Oprah as potentially too forgiving and going way too easy on the cyclist. Number 5. James Frey. In 2005, Oprah Winfrey's book club picked up the book from author James Frey, which was a memoir. Oprah spoke very highly of the book, giving it a glowing review, but after it was revealed that his memoir was actually comprised of mostly made-up stories, he went on Oprah's show to apologize and hopefully to clear his name. There he said, "I don't have a lot of respect for the genre," which, okay, pause, because why would you write a memoir then? It seems like you don't respect yourself at that point. He also claimed that he believed most people who wrote memoirs fabricated many of the stories within, so what he did wasn't that bad, I guess? He just got caught. I mean, like, if you're writing made-up stories, then you're just a fiction writer at that point. Time to release a dystopian series, James Frey, or wait, does he not respect that genre either? I guess he'd write fiction whether you respected it or not. Number 4. Lindsay Lohan. In the OWN docu-series featuring Lindsay Lohan titled Lindsay, Oprah Winfrey is seen urging Lohan to be truthful and cut out the nonsense in her quest for recovery. The unusual exchange raises concerns about the intertwining of Lohan's recovery process with the reality show format, seemingly unpacking her rehabilitation for public consumption and entertainment. This approach seemingly contradicts the principles of AA, which emphasizes private and anonymous recovery, and publicizing the struggle with addiction can hinder the chances of success. Many questioned Oprah's role in potentially exploiting Lohan's journey for the sake of entertainment, and noted the inherent risks of making the recovery process a public spectacle. While at the time this premise seemed to fit Lohan's dual goals of sobriety and making a comeback to the industry, many are still critical of Oprah to this day from seemingly exploiting Lindsay. Number 3. The Olsen sisters. They appeared in a 2004 interview with Oprah where they were confronted with rumors. At the time, the two sisters were 18 years old, and the rumors were regarding these girls and their eating habits. Oprah said, "I know a new rumor that's recently surfaced has really upset you, right? You know, the one about eating?" And the twins responded by saying, "Either you're too fat or you're too skinny. People are going to write what they want. We try not to read the good, the bad." And to that response, it seems like they got the awkward question out of the way, right? Nope, because Oprah thought the appropriate follow-up question was, "What size are you, by the way?" And of course, this clip resurfaced all over the internet in 2021, with many viewers feeling bad for the twins, especially because Oprah pointed that rumor out towards these young stars, which made some fans believe the twins were uncomfortable. Number 2. Sally Field. Oprah asked this actress an extremely uncomfortable and honestly inappropriate question regarding her former partner, Burt Reynolds, during a sit-down years ago. Winfrey asked Fields whether Burt slept with his toupee on or off, and for Fields' response, she went cold on Winfrey. Winfrey herself addressed this awkward interview back in 2021, where she revealed she now cringes at the thought of asking Fields that horrific and very surface-level kind of boring interview question. She also understands why Fields went cold following that question, but Oprah, as she said, knows she deserved it. Oprah does claim her producers said she had to ask Fields that question, which she did, and it caused Fields to completely shut off, and Oprah says they were both unable to get into the groove of the interview again. Number 1. Tom Cruise. This one was extremely popular and talked about. Though if we're being honest, I really don't see what all the fuss and uproar was about, but you know, whatever, it was early 2000s, I wasn't alive, whatever. This gets our first place spot due to the damage it was expected to do on the ultra-famous Tom Cruise's career. While appearing on Oprah's talk show, Tom Cruise began jumping up and down on the couch like an actual child, screaming that he was in love and then air punching the floor, or something like that. I'm honestly not sure. Tell me what you think he's doing, please, because I don't know. Anyway, Oprah's reaction to this whole ordeal is what actually makes this entire thing so awkward. She looks at him like he is actually insane, like he's this weird creature, which I mean, fair, but it creates a very awkward air that surrounds the entirety of the interaction. After the incident, Tom Cruise faced a lot of backlash in the up-and-coming tabloid universe and displayed for the first time just how much power and influence tabloids are capable of wielding.
Number 10. Fabricated memoir. Oprah launched her book club in 1996, a reading-encouraging segment for her talk show that turned any book that she chose into a bestseller. In September of 2005, Winfrey picked A Million Little Pieces, a brutal and painful memoir by James Frett about his years-long struggle with substance control issues. Now, A Million Little Pieces became the best-selling non-fiction book of the year, and Frey was asked to appear on her talk show to discuss the book that Oprah called gut-wrenching. However, the following year, a news outlet ran a very expositive article about Frey after it was discovered that he had made up or juiced large portions of his memoir. For example, there is a section of the book that tells a story of Frey surviving a fatal train crash that took the lives of 2 teenagers. Yeah, he was never on that train, nor did he have any involvement in that situation. That was just something he thought it was neat to put in his book. Weeks after the article broke, Oprah asked Frey to return to the show, where he faced livid viewers and an even more livid Oprah. She told James that she felt duped and betrayed, a feeling that was shared by her audience and millions of readers around the world. She asked why James felt the need to lie to herself and to her readers, and he tried everything, making every excuse that he could think of. He claimed that he altered a lot of the details, but that the overall plot was real. Yeah, that claim caused the studio audience to respond with a massive wave of boos, gasps, and groans. Winfrey later apologized for the mistreatment from her audience, as it was not really her intention, but the damage was already done. His career as a writer is non-existent. Number 9. Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan have appeared in the public eye more and more in the past few years. After leaving the duties of their royal family to live on their own, they decided to capitalize on their so-called fame by releasing a series of different medias, books, podcasts, documentaries, and in 2021, they sat down with Oprah Winfrey to air every single piece of dirty laundry that they had left in their hamper. Of course, the royal family does not appreciate their secrets being shared with the entire world, so not only was everyone blacklisted by them, but the interview kinda soiled their reputations as good people. According to fans of the Oprah Winfrey show, the interview made the couple look more villainous than it was intended. Following the interview, their public image was slightly tainted, and with more media coming out, it made the situation so much worse. Meghan got a podcast and couldn't come up with material for the first year. They made a documentary that people didn't like, so who knows what they'll get up to next. It certainly won't be anything good. Number 8. Lance Armstrong. 7-time Tour de France winner Lance Armstrong has gone down in history as a man who is unable to ride a bike without chemical training wheels. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2013, Lance was brought on to discuss the allegations floating around regarding his status as a Tour de France winner. Several sources claimed that Lance had to take performance-enhancing substances to win all of his races, as well as a type of transfusion involving the red life juice that lives inside all of us. Armstrong went on air and fessed up to every single thing that they were claiming he had done. However, he did deny the notion that he was some kind of a mastermind who was controlling his teammates and forcing them to join in his extracurricular activities. But amidst his admission of guilt, say that 10 times fast, I can't even do it once, there was a moment where he tried to pin the situation on his battle with cancer. He wraps it up by saying he should have tried harder to cancel the culture rather than create more of a problem. He was stripped of all 7 Tour de France titles and has since lived in exile among the cycling world. Number 7. Where's the beef? In spring of 1996, the United Kingdom apparently experienced an outbreak of bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or mad cow disease, because I can't pronounce that. According to the FDA, the disease destroys cows' central nervous systems, and if humans eat the infected meat, we get zombies! No, but they can contract a deadly variant called Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. During the mad cow scare, the Oprah Winfrey show booked Howard Lyman. The former cattle rancher had adopted a vegetarian lifestyle and went to work for the Humane Society's Eating with Co-Science Animal Welfare campaign, and he appeared on the show to discuss the threat of mad cow disease to Americans. He pointed out that feeding the remains of a cow to an infected cattle or other animals could facilitate the spread, and that such practices were common in the United States. Oprah was stunned and vowed that she would never eat a burger ever again. Her influence and her millions of viewers, though, were so large that only a few hours after this episode aired and she declared that she'd never eat a burger again, the price of beef stocks plummeted, staying at an all-time low for 2 months. One Texas rancher lost an estimated $6.7 million and organized a class action lawsuit against Oprah and her show for talking trash about beef. Well, after 6 weeks of the trial, she won, leaving one man with no farm and out thousands and thousands of dollars in legal fees. Number 6. Tom Cruise. Despite this guy being in the Mission Impossible franchise, he has been in a lot of movies produced by himself. You didn't think Hollywood forgot about Oprah Winfrey's interview with him, did you? I certainly will never. Following the announcement that he was engaged to Katie Holmes in the early 2000s, Tom appeared on an episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show. That is surely the most chaotic moment in TV history. From the moment he steps on stage, things just start to go horribly wrong. He throws his arms up in the air, he rubs her like she's a genie, and he's trying to get a lamp out. Seriously, I'm not sure what his thought there was, but he was nuts. Tom jumped on her couch, he grabbed her hands over and over again. She couldn't even get the questions that she had out. Eventually, Oprah was like, I don't care anymore, just bring this lady out. And the cameras followed him around as he ran through the studio trying to find her. Looks like a nature guy running through a jungle with his camera crew. The moment cemented Tom as a man with many hidden personalities, and while it has not affected his work as an actor per se, ever since that day, whenever he's brought in for press or any kind of interviews, all entrances and exits must be locked. Again, this guy may be in movies still, but it's rarely anything new or exciting. Number 5. Jay Leno. In 2004, NBC announced that the late-night host Conan O'Brien would be taking over as the full-time host of The Tonight Show, replacing Jay Leno in 5 years. When those 5 years passed and it was time to upgrade, NBC did not want to lose Leno to another network, so they gave him his own talk show in a prime-time spot. The Jay Leno Show failed to capture an audience, and The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien was not an instant ratings smash. So, by the early 2010s, NBC had dismissed Conan and threw Jay back into the fold. Jay became public enemy number 1. People thought that he was the reason Conan lost his job. Oprah invited Leno onto the show to share his side of the story, and he didn't do much to save face. He wrote the entire thing off as dramatic and a mess, and then decided to play the victim card, claiming that he felt sucker punched by the backlash. He also admitted that when he announced his eventual resignation, that he was 100% lying to everybody Sonny's face. He wasn't getting out of there anytime soon. He then argued very passive-aggressively that NBC was right to reinstall him because under Conan's poor ratings, it marked, in his words, the first time in 60 years of The Tonight Show that it would have lost money. A poll was conducted on Oprah's website, and the consensus was that 96% of the audience hated Leno and missed Conan. Eventually, Jay was replaced by Jimmy Fallon, and Conan O'Brien's show Conan was a massive success. Number 4. Monique. The beef between comedian and actor Monique and Oprah Winfrey goes back to 2010. Monique had just won an Oscar for her performance in Precious in 2009, and leading up to the film's premiere, Oprah interviewed Monique's brother Gerald, who Monique claimed to have been physical towards her growing up in a truly dark way. In a since-deleted Periscope video, Monique claimed that she gave Winfrey her blessing to do the interview, but was shocked and disgusted when her parents were in the audience. In the years that followed, Monique eventually forgave Oprah for creating such an uncomfortable moment for herself and her family. But following the show, Monique and her family did not make up. Exposing that kind of personal family information on TV destroyed the chances of anything, any kind of relationship ever materializing. Number 3. Mackenzie Phillips. When people see the words tell-all interview on their screens, there is an instant sense of mystery and we get hooked, especially when that celebrity is known for their outlandish behavior and highly documented substance use. Viewers of the Oprah Winfrey Show were probably still pretty unprepared for what was about to happen, though. The former One Day at a Time star Mackenzie Phillips appeared on her show in 2009 to promote and discuss her soon-to-be-released tell-all book, High on Arrival. She read aloud a passage describing how after waking up from a substance-induced blackout, she discovered her father John was physically forcing himself onto her. When Mackenzie confronted him, he denied everything, but she continued and claimed that the relationship did eventually become consensual, and that's when the audience turned. Mackenzie came on a highly publicized television program and aired her extremely dirty laundry to the world. The world, or should I say her family, responded to the claims and they were actually shocked and felt that these were completely untrue. Ever since that interview, her career and her relationship with her family and, well, everybody has been dark and rocky. Number 2. Sarah Ferguson. The royal couple are still something to behold, something that a lot of people in the world wish to hear about as often as possible. Back in the day, instead of Harry and Meghan, they had Sarah and Prince Andrew. Now, much like how Meghan and Harry came on Oprah's show to discuss their side of their story, Sarah did the same in the 1990s. Ferguson sat down with Oprah to discuss her time in the palace after 10 years of marriage to Andrew ended in divorce. According to Ferguson, living in the palace was anything but luxury. She told Oprah that the royal family life was not a fairy tale, but more of a dreadful existence adhering to nitpicked rules. For instance, the windows at the palace could only be opened a certain amount so that they all look in line. And she was reportedly berated one day when she opened a window and was told that it was the wrong thing to do. She also detailed the treatment that she had been receiving from the British media, who were and still are extremely invasive. She came back on the show a few times to basically go over the aftermath of the previous interview. Turns out the royal family doesn't like it when you trash it on TV. Who knew? And at number 1, Terry McMillan. One thing that Oprah loves to do is bring couples with issues onto her show to make a few bucks off of their problems. Best-selling author Terry McMillan based her novel How Stella Got Her Groove Back on her own life. Like the book's main character, she was a successful, divorced, middle-aged woman who found love again with a man 2 decades younger than her. According to Oprah's website, in 1995, McMillan took a trip to Jamaica and fell in love with a 20-year-old named Jonathan Plummer. Before long, they moved in together and got married, but they eventually split in 2005 when Plummer revealed that he was gay. Revealing the truth to the world resulted in a tabloid frenzy, and the couple started bad-mouthing each other to the press, with Plummer successfully suing his former wife for spousal support. The argument between these two came to a head thanks to Oprah Winfrey. Hosting both of them on her show in 2005, she allowed them to confront each other live on stage and let out all of their pain and frustration. Shortly after, McMillan sued Plummer for $40 million, citing emotional distress and destruction of reputation. The altercation on her show left McMillan feeling like she needed to make a statement, and she did. In doing so, she ruined the reputation of herself and her ex. And those are the interviews that destroyed lives thanks to Oprah Winfrey.